Welcome back, Caribbean folks. Welcome to Caribbean Duck. And I'm going to share with you my recipe for a vital Ital full of energy, nutrition, and vitamins that will put lead in your pencil, if you know what I mean, gentlemen. And I will start in my yard. And we'll take a little journey and get some root vegetables for this one. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go for the journey. We're gonna start here with sweet potatoes. Now I got these potato bags from a friend of mine. Gwen, if you're watching, these are your sweet potato bags. And yes, we did get some sweet potatoes, but I believe I left it growing too long, so some of it disintegrated. But I did manage to get some. This is our ingredients. I'm going around in the yard and foraging, and I'm gonna add all this fresh ground root vegetables into our recipe for something that's known as gun oil in Guyana, but I call it my vital Ital because it has all the necessary vitamin and nutrients to give you some extra energy. We want to make sure we sort out everything and get all that goodness out of there. It's in my organic soil, and so I want to make sure I get everything out of there so I can reuse that soil one more time, plant something different maybe. This is Jasmine, my companion dog.
Sit. Good.
And now we're going into the garden and we're getting some peppers. I'm getting some yucca here. Yeah, yucca is another ground vegetable here, a root vegetable that I'm gonna add to our pot. Here it is, got a few. Now this is dasheen. It's another root vegetable that we're gonna add to our recipe. This is ero, also known as malanga. Gonna get a few of those, clean it up. We'll take it back to the kitchen. It's a decent size. Now we're gonna save the leaves of the ero and the leaves of the dasheen, and we're gonna add that in our recipe as well. We're gonna get a few peppers. This is wiri pepper, full of flavor, not so hot, but lots of flavor. Now I'm gonna add some spinach as well. This is Malabar spinach. The season is coming to an end now, so I'm gonna reap as much as I can to add to our recipe. Malabar spinach, also known as thick leaf bhaji. Now when this plant was a little lower, the rabbits came and ate some of it, and here we're gonna get some fresh scallions, shallots, green onions. They're all good for this recipe. And here I'm getting some fresh, young, tender leaves from my moringa plant. Also packed with vitamins and minerals and all the essential vitamins for human health. Excellent source. Now this is another kind of spinach. This is called longevity spinach. Gonna get a few of those to get into our recipe. Now this is culantro, also known as bandania, shadow benny. Very good, potent. Here's a look at our backyard, free-ranging chickens and ducks. They're happy just to get out and pick on the grass and scratch around. Rosemary, I'm gonna add a piece of that, and basil. Normally I would have the Guyanese basil known as mariman, but right now it's coming close to the end of summer and it's not doing too well. But I'm gonna get my coconut ready. Now guys, I know I'm probably gonna get some critics on this. I am not a countryman. I'm trying my best to manage with this coconut here. I know this is probably not the best way to peel it, but this is my way and it works for me. So I'm gonna prepare 2 dried coconut. This is how I peel it. I am no expert at this, but I get the job done. A little bit of elbow grease, and here we are. 2 freshly peeled coconuts. This is what I'm going to use to juice and get the milk out of. I'll show you that in a few. Now we're back in our kitchen. We're going to cut up our root vegetables. Not going to use the whole vegetable here. I'm going to use half of that. Gonna peel it off. Gonna put it in this bowl with water. Now this is our yuca. Our nice fresh tender yuca from the backyard. Gonna peel it up. Add that to the water. I try to keep it in the water so it doesn't oxidize and turn color. Now you don't need a lot, but I'm gonna use up whatever I have because I don't want it to waste. So I'm gonna make a big pot of this Ital Vital or Vital Ital. This is our sweet potato that I got from our yard. And for this recipe, I'm going in with 1 green plantain, I'm gonna wet my hands and get in and peel that skin off. Next, this is our dasheen bush. The leaves, I'm gonna devein. We don't want the vein in there because this has some sort of toxic juices in there that we want to avoid. But the leafy part is full of vitamins and iron, and so here we go. I'm gonna cut strips off, remove the veins. From what I hear is if you leave the veins in, it has some toxic chemicals in there that will itch your mouth and cause rashes, wherever it is, some kind of toxic enzymes. So we want to avoid that. Once we remove those main veins, when you cook it, everything is resolved and it's easy to digest. Cut the rest of our spinach up, and then I'm gonna strip the leaves off, the moringa leaves, and give that a nice chop as well. You want to get your ingredients as fine as possible, because what we're really trying to achieve is a kind of a puree. Here's our scallions from the backyard, or green onions, whichever you choose to call it. Some basils. And here's our weary peppers. Not gonna make this super hot, but just enough for flavoring. I added about 4 or 5 of those little pocket full of flavor here. Now if you want, you can add some scotch bonnet to that and make it more spicy. Gonna add an onion, chopped finely, and this is our edo, also known as malanga. This is another root vegetable, and I'm gonna add just half of that. Give it that nice creamy texture when it melts. These are coconuts that I'm gonna crack open, and I'm gonna save the water. Now the water could be good for a lot of things. I can put it in my smoothie, give it a natural sweet, or I can put it in a refrigerator in a glass and have it as a drink. And that's full of nutrients also. Now this is our traditional grater that we use for grating, so I'm gonna use that to grate all the flesh off of the coconut, doing it the traditional way. Next, we add water to our grated coconut, shredded coconut. Now you can also do this in a blender as well, a food processor. You know, grate the coconut and put it in a blender, or chop it up finely. Then you add it to a blender or a food processor. And then we add the water, the cold water, and we squeeze it and get as much of that liquid out of there. That's where we extract the milk and the juice out of there. And chop the rest of our vegetables up. As you can see here, I'm chopping it up as small as possible because we want that to melt and give us that nice creamy texture. Next we add, this is equivalent to about 6 cups of coconut milk. coconut cream. And then we add our vegetables, our root vegetables, our plantain that we chopped up very finely. And next here, this is our sweet potatoes and yuca. I'm gonna chop that up in small pieces as well. Next, we're gonna husk our corn and give it a nice wash. Get all those little tiny hairs off of it. Add our green leaves and vegetables to the pot, to the milk. And here I added some what you might call your green seasoning. I call my all-purpose seasoning. I put about 2 scoops in there. These are 2 teaspoons. This is optional. You can go with a veggie cube, a bouillon, or you could use a chicken bouillon too, just as well. Added extra flavor to that. A little bit of sea salt. Some crushed garlics. As you guys know, I encourage you to use as much garlic as possible. So I must have put about 10 cloves of garlic in here, because I like garlic. Garlic is good for you. Use as much as you like. Give it a stir. Get ready to let this baby simmer and do the magic. And to assist in this process, I'm gonna use my stick blender and puree everything, get it nice and smooth. We want this to be a consistency, a nice rich creamy consistency, which we can take a spoon and dip it and eat it. Or you can take your corn, as you can see in a moment. I eat it with my corn because it's so nice and thick and rich. At this moment, this is almost finished cooking, so I'm just gonna add the corn to it for another 2 minutes, and we are done. This is a nice healthy vegetarian meal. Vital Ital. All the nutrition you need, and here's my judge. Looks like a winner. She likes it. Guys, if you like my Vital Ital, also known as gunile, but I pureed it, made it nice and thick and rich. Soup it up a little bit. So if you like my video, folks, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe,